Well, we're about, depending on traffic, about a half hour from Beverly Hills and just a couple minutes from downtown Los Angeles. Rockies and Dodgers for the first of 19 this year. The Rockies trying to snap a 6-game losing streak here at Dodger Stadium. But the Rockies own the best road record in the game right now. They're unbeaten at 6-0. They're leading the division at 7-2. The Dodgers right behind at 6-3. So Jeff Houston, an early test for the Rockies.
Well, it is in a place that the last 6 times they've come out here, they haven't won, and they're going up against Kershaw, so we know all of those matchups. But a chance, they're playing well out on the road, chance to put their foot down and show some more with what they have.
Absolutely. It'll begin tonight with Charlie Blackmon as we take a look at the rest of the Southwest Airlines batting order of Walt Weiss. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Troy Tulowitzki will bat second, Arenado third. A lot of right-handed bats naturally against the premier left-hander in the game. Willeen Rosario bat cleanup. Nick Hundley has good numbers, .310 average against Kershaw. He'll bat fifth. And Corey Dickerson, one of only 2 lefties in the lineup, Drew Stubbs. Kyle Kendrick will bat 8th, and DJ LeMahieu. So Cargo, who's 5 for 30 lifetime against Kershaw, will get his first day off of the season. Well, Hugh, you were talking about it. Kershaw, solid 3 runs, 6 innings at home against the Padres, and really struggled against Arizona.
Well, he did, but that was out on the road. And in the 12 and the third innings that he's thrown, he's given up 16 hits, and that's unlike Kershaw. The opponent's batting average is .320. But why I say at home is because in his last 25 home starts, consecutive now, he's given up 3 earned runs or less.
The reigning Cy Young Award winner, the reigning MVP in the National League. He went 21-3 last year with a 1.77 ERA. You know what's remarkable for me? Kershaw's 98-50 in his career. And I think if you ask most people, me included, say, hey, is this guy a Hall of Famer? Well, he's won 4 straight ERA titles, 3 of the last 4 Cy Young Awards. And you'd say, yeah, he's probably already a Hall of Famer potentially, and yet he doesn't even have 100 victories.
I know, that's crazy to think about those numbers, but when you win the NL MVP last year, that'll add a little extra stock.
This is topped foul. That was a slider, so it's quickly 0-2. So more of the glowing numbers and some of the awards that Kershaw has earned. 4-time All-Star. There's only 9 3-time Cy Young Award winners. So that gives you an idea right there. And nobody's ever won 4 straight ERA titles.
Well, and last year he was 21-3. And from June on, he was 18-1.
And he missed 5 weeks.
Yes.
He went to Australia, pitched, and then because of back issues, missed 5 weeks, and he still won 21 games. That's high. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Blackmon. Charlie's been swinging the bat well. Both teams were off yesterday.
Lots of sliders.
Throwing the slider, at least in the first 2 games, Huey, more than the curveball.
He just has a better feel for that. The curveball is one of the tougher ones for him to hit. He only gives up a slugging percentage on the curveball last year at 176. And that's what it is this season, but he just hasn't had that snap on it.
They go in with a fastball, and he painted it at 94 miles an hour. So Kershaw strikes out Blackmon. Tulowitzki will come up. A glance at the Dodgers defensively. In the outfield, they'll have Carl Crawford in left. Jock Peterson, who had one of the great AAA seasons in recent memory. And Andre Ethier gets the start right. Yasiel Puig, a sore hamstring. He's day-to-day. Uribe, Jimmy Rollins over from Philadelphia. Howie Kendrick comes up from Anaheim. Adrian Gonzalez and Yasmani Grandal comes up from San Diego. Part of the Kemp deal. Tulo, as Corey Sullivan advised, fires at the first pitch.
Get him early if that's what the game plan is, because you don't want Clayton Kershaw to settle into any sort of rhythm where he starts using both sides of the plate in a different lane, going outside as well as in.
Fastball's down low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rockies won Wednesday evening 4-2 in San Francisco to complete the sweep of the Giants. And that ball's rifled over the head of Jimmy Rollins. Thankfully, he's about 5'8.5" and not 5'10.5".
Or had a 12-inch glove instead of an 11.5-inch glove. He did not miss that by much. Oh, the slider that stayed belt high for Troy. Got in towards the label, but still strong enough to hit it over the head of Jimmy.
So with one out, Nolan Arenado will take his turn. Arenado 4 for 15 against Clayton Kershaw. Nice for Nolan yesterday. He got to drive down to Orange County and spend the day with his family.
Right back onto the couch. Mom and dad there.
Get a home-cooked meal.
Right. Maybe he took him out for dinner. You think your mom just made him a special meal?
Probably the latter. I don't know if he got off the couch. Boy, that's a nasty pitch. Fortunately, it was inside. That may have been the best slider in the early going he's thrown. That was late.
Well, when a hitter is going as well as Nolan, you can lay off those pitches. When you're not, you'll swing at them, you'll break your bat, or just swing through it.
There are timing issues with Kershaw because of the unorthodox way he delivers the baseball.
Yes, there is. And when do you start your load to go back? That's always the key. I mean, kind of the rule of thumb is when the pitcher starts to go back with his, you start a little bit of a movement. But with Kershaw and the way he drops his hands and leans towards the plate before he releases it, it's hard to set the foot down in time.
Patient at bat for Arenado, who, as you know, doesn't typically walk a lot. He's walked 4 times this year. What's been impressive is he has struck out only twice in the first 9 ball games. Leading the club with 3 home runs, tied with Dickerson. League lead with 10 ribbies. This ball is in the air to center field. Jock Peterson's going to get over there and make the catch.
Well, we've talked about Clayton Kershaw and the pitches he's thrown. We've seen the sliders, not throwing the curveball as much. But how about that fastball? I'm not sure I've ever seen Kershaw with the fastball getting hit at a 391 clip. But the slider is also getting hit at 357. So that tells you why he is 0-1 with the 5.84 ERA.
Much was made of his issues in the postseason last year. I look at it a little differently. It really, to me, came down to 2 innings. It was the 7th inning both times. It was not as if he was, getting beaten up through both of those ball games.
The problem that Clayton faces is the bar is set so high for him that when something happens and he gets a higher ERA in the playoffs, people, he's not a big-time pitcher.
His career mark in the postseason, 1-5 with a 5.12 ERA.
But look at the opponent's average against. I mean, there's a couple guys that you would say, well, if I needed one game started, who would it be? Kershaw and Bumgarner are going to be at the top of everybody's list.
And Wheeling calls time. Well, since 1920, think about this. Kershaw has the lowest all-time ERA of pitchers with at least 1,000 innings or 100 or more starts. .251. This is bounced to third, Uribe with a nice play. So Tulowitzki singles. He's left at first base. The Rockies done in their half of the first. Kyle Kendrick to the mound when we come back. Kyle Kendrick in his third start will face this lineup for Don Mattingly. Jimmy Rollins, after 15 years with the Phillies, now in Los Angeles. He'll lead things off. The Southwest batting order will continue with Carl Crawford. Adrian Gonzalez, .528 average, leading baseball. He had 5 home runs in the first 3 games. That had never happened before. Howie Kendrick comes up from Anaheim. Yasmani Grandal, some new faces. Andre Ethier, Juan Uribe, Jock Peterson, and then Clayton Kershaw. Kendrick has not fared well in Dodger Stadium, so he's looking to turn that around. An ERA above 7 in his career here.
Yeah, 23 earned runs in 28 in the 3rd inning.
Pitching against his longtime friend and teammate, Jimmy Rollins, and the first pitch is in there, strike 1.
Those were always the tough matchups. I had a matchup with Kevin Brown, one of my roommates, when he was pitching for the Dodgers, and it's just it's a different feeling.
I'll tell you what, from what I've heard, facing Kevin Brown, whether he was your teammate or the best man at your wedding, wouldn't have been fun.
No, because he would throw at you in a minute. I mean, you kind of looked at him sideways. He'd drill you.
He had nasty stuff. 1 ball, 1 strike on Rollins, and that's high. 2-1.
Seems different to see Jimmy Rollins in blue instead of the red.
You know, if it's different for us, I guarantee it's different for him.
Well,
cutter inside, it's 3-1.
Instead of spring training in Florida, you're in Arizona. That's a whole lot different. Much better in Arizona than Florida. Same familiar number.
And that's not close. So a leadoff walk to Rollins. That's not what Kendrick wanted to do.
All right.
Carl Crawford will be next as we glance at the Rockies defense. Dickerson's in left, Stubbs in center, Blackman in right. The airtight infield of Arenado, Tulowitzki, LeMahieu, and Willeen Rosario for the Rockies. Justin Morneau. And behind the plate, Nick Hundley. Here's Willeen.
Get some work over there tonight with Jimmy Rollins. You have to keep him close. He'll still steal a base on you.
That's a strike. Jimmy with 455 career stolen bases.
Well, 13 of his 14 major league seasons, he's stolen 20 plus bases or more.
Very consistent.
Good lead when you got your right foot on the other side of the cut. Not every cut is the same in the major leagues, but at least at your home ballpark, you know how far it is because you'll go out and measure it. So you don't have to look back to the base. You have your lead and you stick with it.
This is popped up left side. Tulo's going to go out. Dickerson in the neighborhood as well. Troy makes the catch for the first out.
First baseman, number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
Adrian Gonzalez chatting up Nick Hundley. Those two were teammates in San Diego. Hard to have a better start than Adrian. He has an on-base percentage close to 600 in the early going.
That's why his OPS is almost 1.3. I mean, it's off the charts.
I don't think anybody smells RBIs any better than Adrian Gonzalez, who's a .331 lifetime hitter with runners in scoring position. He's got a sweet swing, doesn't he?
It really hasn't changed throughout the course of his big league career. I mean, it's been the same. He'll have a small leg kick, but then that big barrel and the bat come through. Talk about the home runs he's hit. He has power to all fields. But so far this year, everything's been to right field. All his home runs.
One One of the reasons Boston was enamored with getting him from the Padres, they figured he'd play pepper all day long with the monster, if not hit it over, and he did.
Or hook it around the pesky foul pole in right field.
He truly hits the ball where it's pitched. The Rockies don't shift with him. He's not here. There goes Rollins, and this is fouled off down the left field line, out of play.
Not a particularly good jump from Jimmy. Kyle held the ball on him, and he kept getting out there thinking, I can go, but by the time he went, if Adrian hadn't swung at that, they would have had a good shot at him at second.
Here's the 1-2, and that 2 is wasted. A year ago, Adrian led the National League in RBIs.
Adrian's one of those big guys that also swings a big bat. I mean, that thing is like a log in his hand.
Reading a story, Joey Amalfitano, who spent so many years as a coach with the Dodgers, is now working in the Giants organization. Joey's in his 80s now. He was telling a story about Willie Mays the day he had 4 home runs. And he said he had gotten food poisoning the night before, and he was going to sit the game out. And Amalfitano said, "How do you feel, Willie?" He said, "About 70%. He said, "Well, your 70% is better than 100% anybody else we're going to put out there." Rollins takes off, and this is fouled off again. And so Willie went in the lineup, and he proceeded to go 4 for 5 with 4 home runs. At the time, he was the 9th player ever to produce 4 home runs in a game. And, you know, it just speaks to, you know, his greatness. But one of the things that Amalfitano said in the story was he used a lighter bat that day. He used one of my bats because he didn't feel strong enough to swing what he normally did. You know what the bat size was? 35 inches, 33 ounces. Now, that would be looked upon as the biggest bat going today.
Right, and now it's more like 34 to 32 ounces, maybe 33 and a half, 31.
Here's the throw to try to get Rollins, and the ball came out.
Troy just dropped that. It'll still go down as a stolen base, 456 for Jimmy. Jump wasn't bad. Quick peek over the shoulder. And it never secured into his glove. He tried to apply the tag before he secured the baseball.
That's tough. It was a little low.
And it was a little on the shortstop side. But just looking at Troy's reaction, he said, "I should have had that."
So now Rollins at second, 2-2 on Gonzalez. And this ball lined to center field, and it's over the head of Drew Stubbs. Got a bad read on it. And Adrian Gonzalez drives in his 10th run of the year, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. That ball fooled Drew Stubbs. I don't know if he would have been able to catch it, but he went east and west initially, and then he realized it was over his head.
Well, that's the power of Adrian Gonzalez, the backspin on the baseball. Like a changeup away that was off the plate. Adrian goes with it. The hips come through. Big, powerful swing, but there's the route you referenced, Drew. It was more going across instead of taking that drop step and creating a better angle.
7th double, which matches Tulowitzki. Kendrick just made it 3-0. First home run in a Dodger uniform for Howie Kendrick.
Some people are wondering why Howie Kendrick was hitting fourth for the Dodgers. They said, well, he's more of an extra leadoff hitter. That wasn't a leadoff hitter swing. That was a swing that when a pitcher makes a mistake, you make him pay.
Yasmani Grandal, the curveball's outside and high. Looked like a changeup, but it was
floated
above,
back in.
Yeah, it was above the belt.
Take a look at the pitch from Kyle to see what it was. Looks like it was just trying to sink the fastball. He didn't have that grip where it comes off the inside part of the hand.
3-0 on the switch hitting catcher, Grandal. Rockies have a shift on with Yasmani at the plate. Home plate umpires Mike Everett, Tim Timmons at first, Todd Tishner's at second, Tim Welke is at third base. Welke, the crew chief. Hard on the ground. Nice play by Willeen. And a good feed to Kendrick for the second out. Good play by Willeen.
He's worked hard. He goes out every day, takes ground balls, takes throws. It's a different position, different mid. This nice, easy flip over to Kyle, who was covering.
And that'll bring up Ethier. Ethier is the most expensive extra outfielder in baseball at $15 million a year. He's played in every game save one so far this year.
I've been 10 years with the Dodgers, but I don't think they're too concerned about their payroll when you're talking about it's $270 million on opening day. And they're playing some guys not to play here anymore to the tune of 43, almost $44 million.
Good pitch, 1-1. Well, now 22 teams in baseball, 22 of the 30 have payrolls above $100 million. The Rockies being one of those 22.
They're paying Dan Herron, Matt Kemp to play against them in the same division.
Isn't that something? 2-1. See the field still adorned with the markings of Jackie Robinson Day, the Civil Rights game here at Dodger Stadium. And it's great to see Mrs. Robinson here, Rachel Robinson, escorted to the mound by Sandy Koufax.
We're going to unveil a Jackie Robinson statue outside the stadium later on this year.
Three and 2 on Ethier. And Ethier golfs this one down the right field line and foul. home runs career-wise against Kendrick for Ethier. Jeff mentioned that Andre's been a Dodger for 10 years, longest tenured Dodger now. Strike 3, and that'll end the inning. Tough first inning for Kyle Kendrick. He gives up the RBI double to Adrian Gonzalez, and then the 2-run home run to Howie Kendrick.
And as we welcome you back, it's a Friday. You know what that means? It's a Fan Friday. We want you to join along in our telecast. Send away your questions that you've been dying to know about the Rockies or perhaps Dodger Stadium or something going on in LA. We'll be happy to answer those during the broadcast. All you have to do is tweet at RootSports_RM, and don't forget to hashtag it with a Fan Friday. So I'm going to throw a question up to you two to start the night. What'd you guys do this morning? That's my burning question.
I went for a run with one of my colleagues.
Is she fast?
She was just smoking fast. Absolutely.
I bet it was the best morning you've ever had then.
Yeah, one of them, yes.
Huey couldn't even run with us because I was so fast.
No, because I wasn't invited. I had to go on my own.
All right, get back to baseball.
Just standing invitation, Huey. Rockies in the second will begin with Nick Hundley, and Nick has a quality swing as that's fouled off against Kershaw. Mentioned off the top that Nick has a .310 average lifetime against Kershaw. Off to a really good start in his new uniform with a .321 average.
We talked about when he signed over the winter, getting in touch with Blake Doyle, looking at video, making sure they were on the same hitting page, that Blake didn't want something that wasn't going to fit into Nick and what he wanted to accomplish, but it's been a pretty good combo.
It's been outstanding so far. Nick really enjoying playing for the Rockies. That catches the zone. It's 2-2. You get a comfort level, Hugh. You bounced around a little bit in your big league career, but I think Nick is comfortable being out west, being in the NL West specifically.
Yeah, everything's the same to you. Yeah, you're playing in a different city, but you go to these other cities so much, you know the hotels, you know where the players' entrance is. All the little things that don't seem like much, but they add up to be one big thing.
And as we've discussed, very familiar with Colorado, having spent some time in high school in Boulder. Well, you got to chip away.
Yes.
Down 3-0. Typically, you're not going to put a big number on Kershaw. Rockies had a base hit with one out from Tulowitzki in the first. Nothing else the rest of the inning. Here's the 3-2 again. Second strikeout from Kershaw.
Kershaw is so tough because you see the ball, you're thinking the slider, or that might have even been a curveball, but it hung too much. You're thinking it's going to break to one spot and it doesn't, but you still swing at it because you're anticipating it going down more.
Dickerson, one of the two lefties in the lineup tonight for the Rockies. Corey 0 for 6 with 4 punch-outs against Kershaw.
I wouldn't be surprised tonight if we see Corey go to that 2-strike approach even early in the count, and meaning that he's not going to do the leg kick. You see the ball longer.
2-1. And a smaller leg kick on that particular delivery.
If a guy throws softer, you can have a higher leg kick. Harder thrower, it can't be that way. And there it was. That time he just lifted the back heel off the ground and threw it right back in there. Great look from the side angle. I mean, this is Kershaw. That high leg kick, and then he drops the hand behind.
And he beats him up top with a fastball.
And Rockies Dugout Stores are the place for all things Rockies, with the best selection of Rockies merchandise and tickets, plus exclusive new Peanuts bobbleheads of the month.
Drew Stubbs.
Drew Stubbs. Drew getting his second start this year. He's had just 4 at bats so far. Looking for his initial knock. 0-2. When there's a drop off with the pitcher, you say, okay, well, did he lose a little bit on his fastball? Is his location not what it was? There hasn't been a drop off with Kershaw. He's had 2. He had 1 subpar start and 1 okay start by his standards. But it's still 95 with nasty stuff, and there's Payne on the outside corner at 94. He strikes out the side. He has struck out 4 in 2 innings. It's 3-0 Los Angeles. Brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores and Let's Go Places. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Dodgers got 3 in the first against Kyle Kendrick. A 2-run home run from Howie Kendrick against Kyle Kendrick.
Say that 3 times so fast.
I said it once. Wish I didn't have to say it at all. 1-0 on Juan Uribe. High pop-up on the right side. DJ is going to call off Willeen Rosario.
Smart on 2 fronts. The second baseman has a priority over the first baseman, but also Willeen hasn't been over there as much. He's not as familiar. Going back for that pop-up. Let the second baseman have it.
1 out. That'll bring up Jock Peterson out of Palo Alto, California. Peterson out of high school, signed to play at Southern Cal.
Stanford was going to let him leave town?
I'm sure they wanted him, but he had signed with USC, but he never played college baseball. The Dodgers drafted him in the 11th round, and he signed. He had Dodger bloodlines. His father had played briefly in the big leagues. Stu for the Dodgers, 8 games back in 1981. 2-0. He brings a hot bat into the ball game. 9 for his last 12. He made Matt Kemp expendable in the Dodger minds. They had to get him on the field, and they wanted to have him play every day.
Well, and he's a better center fielder than Kemp. And you had Puig and Wright. This guy was tore up in AAA.
He steals bases. He hits for power. He hits for average. Now with a 2-strike count, Tulowitzki, who is on the left side, runs over to the right side.
It's becoming more frequent, more comfortable for the infielders to do that.
I used to say if they were going to shift, it used to be, well, you set up shop there from the start of an AB. Now you move late in at bat sometimes. Kendrick strikes out Jock Peterson.
Number 22, pitcher Clayton Kershaw.
2 outs, nobody on. Kershaw will come up. With every challenge called, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Dodgers earlier in the week, while the Rockies were sweeping the Giants in San Francisco, the Dodgers were doing the same here at Dodger Stadium against the Seattle Mariners. Mariners had leads, pretty significant leads in a couple of those games.
I mean, 3-0, 4-0 leads. And already they've come back.
This is pulled to right, and he's going to roll to the wall. Kershaw pushing it pretty good out of the box. Will have a double. First hit of the year for Kershaw.
Not much Clayton Kershaw can't do. That was a slider. He went down and got that. Still not the best location. I mean, it's not down at the knees and below. Yeah, it was down, but it was more mid-thigh.
Rollins walked to start that rally in the first inning. He walked on 5 pitches. And he doesn't offer at that pitch. It's ball 1. Jimmy would steal second and score on a double by Gonzalez, and then Howie Kendrick hit one deep into the night in left field. Jimmy in the middle of that great run for the Phillies, where they were the dominant team in the NL East for a number of years. Seemed like the MVP came out of Philadelphia every year. Ryan Howard won an MVP award. Chase Utley was prominently mentioned every year. Jimmy won it in 07.
Think about all the games in 15 years that he played with Philadelphia. Almost 2,100 games. .306 hits.
It's a bunch. Look at the doubles. I mean, he's 21 away from 500 doubles in his career.
All the runs.
Closing in on 900 ribbies.
And we didn't have the stolen bases on there. We didn't have enough room. For Jimmy, if you're ahead of Mike Schmidt on the all-time hits list
with the
Phillies,
he's number one. It's 3-1 on Rollins.
Michael Jack Schmidt.
I should say Jimmy actually has 482 doubles. 3 have come this year with the Dodgers, so he's now 18 away from.
I'm not sure how many
500.
people would have had Jimmy at the top of that list for the Phillies.
Well, I think most people would assume it would be Michael Jack Schmidt. Huntley's going to go out. They're going to make sure that they're on the same page here. 3-2. Crawford's on deck. And it's top to second. That'll end the inning. Kershaw is left at second base after doubling. 3-0 Los Angeles. Will go to the third.
Fan Friday. Tweet us your questions at RootSports_RM. Don't forget to hashtag Fan Friday with your question. We're going to get to him right away. This is from Julie Hernandez. She asked, why is LeMahieu batting in the last spot with a .571 average? Well, he has a .517 average, but he's batting in the last spot because, as you'll see, due up next year is Kyle Kendrick. Then DJ LeMahieu will hit 9th. And Walt Weiss likes to do that when the pitcher hits 8th, have DJ hit 9th to kind of roll over the order. He moves Troy Tulowitzki up into the 2nd spot. So technically, it kind of means that Troy is really hitting behind 2 position players, which he likes. So for DJ, he'll get his shot here, hitting second in this inning against Clayton Kershaw, guys.
All right, Jenny, thank you. So here's Kendrick. He's hitting 600, and he's hitting 8.
3 for 5.
Skip, why am I not hitting in the middle of the order? Guys have their roles, and sometimes lineups can be a fluid deal. But if you're Troy Tulowitzki, if you're Carlos Gonzalez, if you're Charlie Blackmon, if you're Corey Dickerson, you have a pretty good idea day to day where you're going to hit. DJ LeMahieu, he doesn't have to check the lineup card. He knows he's going to be in there, and he knows he's going to. He knows he has to check one thing: is it 8th or 9th?
Yeah, he'll start at the bottom and work his way up. Where the other guys will start at the top of the lineup and work their way down. I mean, that's right. I knew where I was going to hit. Also knew as a utility guy I would start at the extras first and look to see if I was there. And if I wasn't, it was, okay, now I'm playing. Where is it going to be?
Well, Kershaw looks like he's on his game tonight. He has struck out 5 of the first 8 for the Rockies, and 4 in a row. LeMahieu coming up. Who wants tacos? If the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. So DJ is hit in every game. He's also driven in 6 from the bottom portion of that lineup. It's always nice to be in Los Angeles, and you talk about peeking ahead, looking at a lineup card when you were playing. So all players, most players do, unless you're Tulowitzki, you know you're in there. Cargo typically, obviously knows he's in there. When you come to LA, if you're an opponent, you look at the pitchers coming up and you say, ooh, do we miss Kershaw?
Always the first thing, even when you're planning it out 7, 8, 10 days out. Is Kershaw going to be on there, or where is he? Are you going to get Greinke?
Yeah, the ideal thing is you get 3, 4, and 5 in their rotation, and you miss both Kershaw and Greinke. That's not happening. Greinke goes tomorrow. That's strike 3 on LeMahieu. That's 5 in a row. I think the reports of Kershaw's death have been greatly exaggerated.
Well, and now that is 4 caught looking strikeouts.
Charlie Blackmon.
Well, that pitch is a little bit off the plate.
It is.
And that's the second time Everett has done that, Mike Everett. He's good enough. He doesn't need the plate being expanded by 2 inches either way.
Like Maddox. Maddox didn't need it 5 or 6 inches either way. Kershaw was just, I mean, okay for him in March and April. And I say okay, 3-2 at the 357. A lot of guys would take that. But how about 18-1 and 138 after?
Those numbers are silly.
Those are video game numbers.
This ball's pretty well hit left center field. Crawford going back, and he makes the catch. So Charlie Blackmon gave it a ride. 8 in a row retired by Kershaw, 6 by strikeout. Tickets raffle, an opportunity to win a $2.5 million dream home or $2 million in cash, and also help out a great cause. Visit milehighraffle.com, milehighraffle.com for more information. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Jenny Kavnar. Beautiful night in Los Angeles. First of 3, the Rockies and Dodgers. Game 1 of 19 between these two NL West rivals. Carl Crawford, who bats second in Don Mattingly's lineup, he popped out to short his first time against Kyle Kendrick. Dodgers got 3 in the first. Howie Kendrick had a 2-run home run. Adrian Gonzalez an RBI double in that first inning against Kyle Kendrick. Rockies have been great out on the road, 6-0. That's inside. And the Dodgers have been outstanding at home, averaging 5.5 runs per game.
That's first in the National League. They've only played 3 road games. It's early, 1 and 2 out on the away from home.
And the Rockies, when they go home to take on the Padres Sunday night, that series begins Monday, they'll have played 9 of their first 12 away from home. And another pop-up for Tulowitzki, unless Arenado wants it.
Oh,
somebody
whoa,
better
whoa.
take it.
I say whoa because I was with you. I thought Troy had it, and he looked at Nolan as the ball started to come down. And he took it. Don't worry, don't panic. It's under control.
Watch the body
Troy.
language.
Just watch Troy, and he peeks. You got. Oh, wait, I'm right there. I'll go ahead and catch it. About a half a second of panic.
Fortunately, it stayed in the air long enough that there wasn't an issue. Here's Gonzalez. Off-speed pitch for a strike on Adrian. Tulo's played up the middle.
Number 47, Howie Kendrick.
On this day in 1955, 20-year-old Roberto Clemente makes his major league debut for the Pirates. Kendrick saw one pitch and he hit it about 420 to left center. First Dodger home run. If you're going to get traded, imagine for Howie Kendrick, it's nice that you don't have to relocate.
It's just going to take you longer to drive. You have to leave earlier in the day. Talk about early in the ball game in the first inning. Howie Kendrick smoked that fastball out 15-18 rows deep in left field.
One on Kendrick. I'll tell you another reason it was a good fit in his career. Kendrick, you know, the Angels and Dodgers play each other every year. 347 average at Dodger Stadium.
That does factor into where somebody wants to go if they have options.
Top foul.
Some guys don't have options. You just get what you get and you don't throw a fit.
Right.
Did you say to
most guys?
Did you say to the kids?
Kendrick last year drove in 75 runs for the Angels, matched his career high. Back in 2010, he had 75 ribbies. Here's the 2-2. 3-2. Kendrick, an all-star in 2011. Good sinker. He's been a really productive player for a long time. He's a career .292 hitter.
He's just a mainstay for the Angels for so many years. You know, Mike Sosa just write his name in the lineup. He'll go out there and produce.
This one may be playable down the line, and Charlie had to bail out. Couldn't secure it. That's a difficult play for an outfielder because you know you're coming up on a wall, but the wall cuts you in half because it's so low there.
Right. So you have to figure out, okay, do I want to go in standing up, or sliding is my best option? But even sliding, there's not much room. There's only about 8 or 9 feet from where that line is and where the wall is.
Cargo ran into a wall in a similar situation. Good effort by Blackman.
I remember down the road when the Rockies were playing the Angels, Brad Hopp did the same thing, ran into the wall. And hurt his ribs.
Got him on a changeup. So Kendrick strikes out. 3 of those for Kyle Kendrick tonight. 1, 2, 3, third inning for Kyle. Rockies trailing 3-0 as we go to the 4th. Pass on offense. He'll do his damage over time. MLB stat of the day on our Toyota Talk Twitter. Chris Bryant, only the 5th player to make his big league debut in the cleanup spot in the 21st century. Justin Morneau did it. Brad Eldred.
Hey guys, I got the chance to talk to Nolan Arenado before the game today about Chris Bryant. They shared the same agent in Scott Boras, super agent Scott Boras, and he said he's met him a couple times. He said it had to be a nerve-wracking day for him. I can't even imagine having just gone through that a few years ago. He said, of course, he has a lot more hype than I did, but it was cool to see him make a great defensive play at third, since that was kind of the knock on him going in to his major league debut. So pretty cool that Nolan is also a fan, in a way, of another guy who had a big moment today.
Both of them had a lot of pressure when they came up because of the name and where they were picked. But as you referenced, Chris Bryant, the first play he made was to turn and start a double play. So he got that out of the way.
Nolan on deck. 0-2 on Tulowitzki. Troy had a single. The Rockies only hit. Slider misses. So I'm just watching stuff-wise, and I know he had a rough outing.
That's
against Arizona, 5 runs, actually 6 runs, 5 earned, and 6 1/3. The stuff is what we've seen in the past. I mean, it's
the
dirty.
same Kershaw.
Yeah, it's dirty. This ball's rifled to deep left field and got up and got out. Tulowitzki has the Rockies on the board. His first jack of the year. And it's 3-1. Line drive, home run down the left field line for Troy.
And I don't even think you get to 2 Mississippi before this ball is out. It was hit so hard, and Troy is not missing mistakes.
He's behind in the count here, 1-2.
4-seam fastball. Gorgeous cut from Troy. Little toe tap. Gets everything through. Backspin. That's a souvenir for somebody after it goes off some hands.
No, it's not, because
they threw
it back on the field.
You know what? Maybe they threw one of those batting practice balls back in. They switched it out.
That's what they do in Chicago.
I know. That's why I said that. They're sneaky.
It took a few seconds. The folks probably shamed that person into throwing it back. This ball's pretty well hit to right. So Ethier's going to move over and make the catch. 1 out. And that'll bring up the baby bull, Willeen Rosario.
So if you just come to a game, this is maybe you only get to 1 game a year, and you happen to get a home run ball, even though it's the opposing team, would you throw it back?
Would I?
Yeah.
No.
I'd keep it. They can shame me all they want. I'm pocketing it. Put that thing right there and I'll walk out.
Especially, I mean, if you're there with your kids, especially.
Well, and you have Kershaw on the hill and Troy hit it.
That's right. And that's a pretty good combination.
Right. I mean,
I have a baseball that a potential future Hall of Famer hit off a potential Hall of Famer. I'm keeping it.
I'm keeping it too.
You can yell at me all you want. One on Willeen. Kershaw has a string going that the Rockies would like to break tonight. 25 starts in a row at Dodger Stadium of allowing 3 runs or less. He actually has the record. It's 27. He did that between 2008 and 2010.
And this streak started back on June 5th, 2013, the one you're referencing, the 25.
Yeah, the last team to get more than 3 against him was late May of 13. It was the Cardinals, and Kershaw had to be a ballerina to get out of the way of that rocket back up the middle by Willeen.
And he's lucky he's not hurt.
Number 4.
Because this ball was scalded right back up the box, and it spun Kershaw around. And I've seen pitchers get hurt when they try to get out of the way and land on a knee and twist a knee. He dodged 2 different injuries.
So the Rockies have the tying run at the plate. Nick Hundley struck out swinging his first time on a 3-2 pitch. That's a strike. Spring training, Kershaw did get hit. He stayed in the game, though.
It's just so frightening when that ball is coming back at you. You put your glove up, you think you have it. That one maybe was it more of a changeup.
Yeah, it was a jam shot. Doesn't matter. He
no, it
hit
doesn't.
By a baseball.
Right.
This gets away, and moving up is Willeen. That's huge. Rockies have a couple opportunities to maybe get a second run.
But Nick is arguing that he didn't swing at that. Why didn't the home plate umpire, Mike Everett, asked for help. I mean, this is always a beef of mine with home plate umpires, and it's just across the board. If the ball hits the dirt, you're trying to see where the ball is, the check swing, all of that at the same time. I don't think it's possible. Why not ask for help at first? So over the top curveball.
I don't think he went.
No, and then that's what Nick is arguing.
No, he didn't go. He didn't go.
But with the ball breaking the way it is, it gets by. You can still see that and make a check swing. Instead of being 1-1, you're 0-2. And this will give a better look from the side. No, he didn't go.
No, he held up. He clearly held up. And you're right. He should have gotten help if he wasn't sure from Tim Timmons. You know what? They wouldn't even, I guarantee you, with the ball to the backstop, they wouldn't even asked. And no one almost got away from Grandal again. Count level again at 2-2. LA, hits are even 3 apiece. Rockies hitting the top of the 4th. Tulo a home run a moment ago. And with 1 out, Willeen a rocket single up the middle. He's at second after a wild pitch. And it's 3-2.
Tough pitch to lay off. For Nick, you feel like you've already won the battle after that call. Battle back from 0-2 to now 3-2. Think about a curveball dropping off the table.
Dickerson on deck. Strike 3 on Huntley.
Well, fans, Dollar Hot Dogs are back for the 2015 season, and the first 10,000 on Tuesday, April 21st, will receive a coupon for 1. Get your tickets now. So San Diego Padres come in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but Tuesday, Dollar Hot Dog night.
Well, Corey Sullivan said it during the pregame show. You've said it as well. You got to be aggressive early in the count against Kershaw. Doubly so tonight because Mike Everett's given him both sides of the plate.
But then there's that fine line of being overly aggressive and swinging a pitch that's too far out of the zone.
One 1-0 on Corey. Wonderful time for his first hit career-wise against Kershaw. He's off to a beautiful start. Willeen at second base with 2 gone.
And early in the season, this is the moments that the Rockies offense have come through. A lot of times with 2 strikes, but 2 outs. Driving in those all-important 2-out runs.
They've driven a number of 2-out runs. They've driven a number of guys, Jeff, with 2-strike counts.
Different approach. You have to cut your swing down. Just think about putting the ball in play. I know it sounds so elementary, but it is a different mindset.
It's really hard with this guy.
Yes.
2-0. Called strike. Been sitting on 94, 95 with the fastball. Outfield straight up and deep for Dickerson. The infield straight up.
The best arm in the outfield is in center field at Peterson. Not much of an arm in left field with Crawford.
Rockies right now third in the National League in the early going. To your point, Jeff, hitting with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Only the Pirates and Nationals are better. Three and one on Dickerson. This ball ripped, base hit. Ethier up with a baseball. Here comes Willeen to the plate, throws on line, out at the plate. It took a perfect throw, and Andre Ethier made a perfect throw. So Dickerson gets his first ever hit against Kershaw in his 8th at bat. Unfortunately, it does not drive in Willeen.
All right, Dodger fans, it's time for Snack City.
First bank game recap. The Dodgers up 3-1. They got 3 in the first inning against Kyle Kendrick. That man, Howie Kendrick, hit a 2-run home run. Adrian Gonzalez had an RBI double preceding that. Troy Tulowitzki last inning a home run. The Rockies nearly produced another run, if not for a great throw by Andre Ethier. Yasmani Grandal, then Ethier and Uribe. Shift is on with the switch hitter Grandal, and he takes inside ball 1. The Padres, give you an idea how tough runs were to come by for San Diego a year ago. Grandal led the Padres in home runs with 15. That won't be the case this year. Now with Kemp and Upton and Will Myers there, Will Middlebrooks, if he can stay healthy.
They might have that by the All-Star break. Or at least there'll be 11 or 12 home runs.
It's an awfully good looking team on paper. 2-0. And that's outside. 3-0. You say this in every baseball game. When your offense goes out there and gets a little momentum back on their side, make sure you go and get 3 outs quickly. Unfortunately, 4 pitches out of the zone, and Grandal will go down to first in front of Ethier. Here's that throw again by Ethier.
Well, Ethier charges hard, gets a crow hop. Average arm in right field, not a gun, but he got rid of it so quickly. And then Willeen tried to go out and around and reach back with his left hand, the new rules, Grandal cannot block the plate. They started last year, but that throw was on the money.
And Willeen had the right approach, trying to slap the tag, but it was a great tag by Grandal. He caught his hand.
The fingers.
This is going to land out of play. It's back-to-back ball games that the Dodgers have thrown a man out at the plate. Jock Peterson threw out Mike Zunino, the catcher for Seattle, at the plate on Wednesday.
Well, and part of the reason Ethier had that opportunity is because the ball was hit so hard. You know, Willeen did nothing wrong on his secondary or the way he was running. It was hit hard, and he made a throw right there.
It took an ideal throw, because if he has to move, a couple feet in either direction, then Willeen's going to be in there safe.
It was a one hop right at the chest. It wasn't a short hop where you have to pick it, go get it, and come back and reach for the tag.
See if Kyle can get a ground ball here. Cutter's in. 2-1.
Well, says, wait a second. That's not a strike.
If you're looking for Yasiel Puig. Puig nursing a hamstring injury. That's why he's not in the lineup tonight. Two and two on the Arizona State product, Andre Ethier. And DJ will probably have to get just one, and not able to get Ethier. He was shaded up the middle.
Oh, he's double play down. The middle, the ball's hit to his left. He went to slide, and the ball kicked off the heel. Ethier coming from the left side of the box, able to beat it out. They will give Andre Ethier a base hit.
And it's the correct call. He just did beat it. First and second for Uribe, who popped to second his initial at bat. Rockies trailing 3-1. Tulowitzki, a line drive home run to left. Get this. The last and only other home run allowed by Clayton Kershaw against the Rockies at Dodger Stadium was June 4th, 2008. Guess who hit it? He's still playing. Fouled off. Came up with the Rockies. Hasn't been with the Rockies for a number of years. Right-handed bat.
Matt Holliday.
Not Matt Holliday. Good guess, though. Played his college baseball in the ACC.
Jeff Baker.
Jeff Baker. Shake and bake hit a home run June 4th, 2008 against Kershaw. He's the only other guy to homer at Dodger Stadium for the Rockies against Kershaw. This is a double play ball. DJ, good feed. Tulowitzki on the move, double play. And Willeen eyeballs Grandal at third. How athletic Tulo was on that. When he made that throw, he was completely airborne to avoid Ethier.
Well, DJ had the backhand flip to too low. He's coming across the bag. Your runner's coming into you. Get out of the way. Just clear yourself. Catch the bag with your right toe. And then you know with the Rebe running, you got him by 2 strides.
Yeah, you can be careful here if you're Kendrick, because Kershaw's on deck. I mean, Kershaw can handle the bat, but first base is open. Jock Peterson at the plate. In those middle innings where I don't want to give away another run.
With a guy at Peterson that has more power. Maybe you see if he fishes for a pitch or two. If not, then you put him on a 2-0 count.
Now it's 2-0. See Nick Hundley probably glance in the dugout. He just did, and there you go. He's going to stand up. They're going to put him on. Kind of standard fare.
Well, you have a veteran pitcher, rookie hitter.
So first and third, Kershaw doubled. He pulled the line drive down the right field line his first time up. This kicks away, and it's going to cost the Rockies a run. Wow.
Unbelievable.
(4-1) LA as Grandal scores on the wild pitch.
Look back at this wild pitch. Over-rotated the sinker. I mean, Nick's doing everything he can, but it hit out in front of home plate.
Ball and a strike on Kershaw. Been the opening day starter 5 straight years for the Dodgers, and that misses 2-1. He's 13-5 with a .317 in his career on the hill against the Rockies. Tonight is his 27th career start against Colorado.
Still only 27.
Isn't that amazing? Accomplished a lot. Speaking of accomplishing a lot at an early age, Mike Trout hit a couple home runs tonight for the Angels. He now becomes the youngest player in history with 100 home runs and 100 stolen bases. Kershaw's gone. Unfortunately, the wild pitch cost the Rockies another run. 4-1. The Dodgers lead as we go to the 5th.
top of the 5th. On a Fan Friday, we want to go to Twitter and get you another question. This one has to do with a staple figure here at Dodger Stadium. Brandon Boyles wants to know, did you guys get a chance to talk to Vin Scully when the Dodgers and the Rockies meet up? And I'll start by saying one of my first stops here at Dodger Stadium is into the booth to give Vin a hug, see how he's doing and catch up. And unfortunately, the 2 times I went in there today, he was nowhere to be found. So I will do that tomorrow. Drew, Jeff, I know you always stop by and get a chance to talk with the great Vin Scully. So how is he doing?
He's doing great, and Jeff and I spent about 20 minutes talking with him before the earlier this afternoon. He's such a special person, not to mention the greatest broadcaster of baseball ever. His mind is so sharp. He was telling us a story today. We were talking about how things have changed just on the ground. Hard at Adrian Gonzalez, going to be close at first. Safe! Drew Stubbs runs so well, he beats Kershaw to the bag. Takes a look at this again. Drew put it in play hard at Adrian Gonzalez. Little bobble, and Drew has track speed.
Well, and he was putting him up and putting him back down pretty quick. The bobble by Adrian Gonzalez, and Drew sniffs it. He knows, and then the bobble from Kershaw. Drops it. And it's going to be an error.
You're going to give the error to Adrian.
Because he bobbled it first. And they're saying he would have beat that anyway.
I give Drew a lot of credit because his first step, this is bounce foul. His first step on that was, I'm gonna get to the bag. A lot of times guy hits right at the first baseman. Their first step is disappointment, and it reflects that. That wasn't the case with Stubbs. Picking up the story on Vin, we were talking to him about how the game's changed so dramatically, and you have specialists not just for the 9th inning, but ultimately the 6th inning now, and there's so many power arms, stuff we talk about on a regular basis. And he said, the first time I remember seeing a guy who was out there only to throw the 9th inning. He said, I don't know if this was the very first guy, but he mentioned a guy with the Yankees in the late 40s.
Yeah, 47 or 48.
Exactly, and it just gives you an idea. I mean, it's a steel trap mind, and he does something at Dodger Stadium. And we have so many great baseball fans who follow the Rockies, and I know a lot of them try to follow the Rockies out on the road. Come out and watch the Rockies play here at Dodger Stadium sometime, because he does a little kind of preview of every game every night, and they shoot it late in the afternoon. He does it invariably in one take, and it is the most eloquent preview for a couple of minutes of that night's game you can ever imagine. He is a national treasure.
Think about this. When he started, Harry S. Truman was president. There's been 12 since. And Vin is as nice a man as there is.
Kendrick strikes out. That's the first out. How popular is Vin Scully? This person has been on his arm forever.
Number 9, DJ LeMahieu.
8 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw. DJ struck out looking his first time up.
JR said he had a tattoo of you on his arm.
Then he got it burned off. You had that taken off, didn't you, JR? Smart. High ball 1.
There were a couple guys in this game. I mean, we talk about DJ and hitting the ball to right field 44% of the time. Well, look at this number. Howie Kendrick, the second baseman of the Dodgers, and DJ LeMahieu, second baseman for the Rockies, 1-2.
Rockies play hit and run. It's fouled off. So Drew will have to come back. One more note on some of the things Vin was talking about with us tonight. He brought up when he was playing baseball at Fordham, where he went to school. He said, I was a swinger. He goes, I wasn't a hitter. I was a swinger. And I said, well, that's kind of like, the guys in the NBA. They're shooters, and then they're actual makers. coaches say, I don't want a shooting guard, I want a scoring guard. I want a guy who makes shots. Huey, you played hoops. What were you? You a shooter or scorer?
Oh, I was an assist guy.
You were a passer?
Yeah, I was a passer.
So you looked around and said there are better options?
Yeah, yes.
So I looked around. I always look around and say, I think I'm the best option, but I'd probably assess my teammates poorly.
Yes. I think your self-evaluation might have been skewed. Just off, just a hair.
And LeMahieu is strikeout number 9. You're talking about the best hitters in the world, and start to start, this guy just dominates guys. And the Rockies haven't been striking out much.
Well, even with the numbers, the high ERA, hadn't won in his first 2 starts. He still averaged more than a strikeout per inning pitched. And for Kershaw, the 9 strikeouts, 7 have been on fastball, 1 on a slider, and 1 on a curveball.
First time through the lineup, he had 6 strikeouts. The Rockies struck out just 3 times the second time through. Here's Blackman, who struck out in the first looking and then lined to deep left center in the third. See if they go first move and send Stubbs, trying to get him to scoring position. Good thought by Blackman.
Not a bad thought. Most time, you don't want a guy to bunt with 2 outs. You want him to hit a double, but that's where this lineup is different tonight with the pitcher hitting 8th. If you can get on Troy hitting 2nd, but there's 2 guys on in front of him.
That's why exactly what we were chatting about.
Yeah,
it's a good play. I mean, Troy hits the ball out, talking about a tie game. Kershaw, this is how shrewd he is. He's going slide step from the left side, so he's absolutely making it impossible for Drew Stubbs.
Can't do it. Slide step, and then the other part of that component is with Adrian Gonzalez being left-handed, that if he does take off and he throws over, Gonzalez can throw around the runner, make it easier to get to the throw off to second.
Drew goes here, and he gets the right pitch to go on. Grandal hesitates. And a stolen base for Drew Stubbs. He got a breaking ball, and Grandal, I think, had trouble getting it out of his glove.
Well, a breaking ball does not sit in the webbing like a fastball does. It's still rattling around, and that one did. Drew, boy, he still has the speed. Slide to the back corner of the bag.
2-1. See if Blackman can throw out a 2-out hit. Dickerson did last inning. Unfortunately, Rosario got cut down at the plate by Ethier.
Most times you're saying, oh, I'm in the driver's seat, sitting 3-1. But for Charlie, I mean, right now he'll take a walk, so he's going to be a little bit more defensive because Troy hitting next. Might even just take it.
Did he hold up? No. Well, he said he went around.
We showed the one with Nick Hundley where he didn't swing. That time Charlie did.
That's fouled off. Rockies 6-0 so far on the road in 2015. They went 6-39 their final 45 road games after sweeping the Giants in mid-June of 2014. They came here next. They got swept by the Dodgers, and that culminated with that no-hitter on Wednesday in Game 3 of that series by Kershaw. Foul tip and not held by Grandal, so another opportunity for Blackman.
And that no-hitter, that was the only time that the Rockies faced Kershaw here at Dodger Stadium last year.
Hopefully it plays out that way again this year. Stubbs leads off second. Rockies trailing 4-1.
Charlie staying alive.
Here's another element of it. You're forcing Kershaw to throw more pitches. He's kind of right on schedule. 76 pitches here late in the 5th inning. If you can extend him a little bit. Managers don't like to have their pitchers throw 100, 105 plus pitches in April typically. This ball's well hit to right field. Did he catch it all? Going back is Ethier. He won't get it. 2-run home run, Charlie Blackmon. And the Rockies are within a run of Los Angeles. First home run for Chuck Nasty this year.
Number 2.
What an at-bat.
9 pitches for Charlie.
Left on left. He drives one out against Kershaw.
Well, Kershaw did not hit his spot. Grandal set up and away, or down and away, excuse me. That ball was up and in. And then you're just hoping, don't get caught up in this night heavy air out in California with the marine layer. And it didn't. You think back to that wild pitch allowing a run to score last half inning.
Well, you think of 2 little sequences in this game. The perfect throw by Ethier that took a run off the board for the Rockies last inning, and then the wild pitch when you had Kershaw at the plate.
And you did take advantage of the air to lead off that in this inning. The air at first base by Gonzalez.
I just love how this Rockies team is battling. Usually most teams, they fall behind 3-0 with Kershaw on the mound. He's punching everybody out. You think, all right, not that you literally mail it in, not that you literally give a different kind of effort, but the Rockies are playing a different brand of baseball here in the early stages of April. Particularly out on the road.
You see that compete level. I mean, there's never a doubt that even Walt was talking about it to us today in the dugout. That, yeah, Clayton Kershaw's on the hill. Okay, so what? We're still going to take our at-bats. We're still going to go out and compete once we step in the box.
Tulo tried to hold up, but the Rockies get 2 more on the board. Charlie Blackmon, an epic at-bat against Clayton Kershaw. 2-run home run for Blackmon, and it's a 4-3 ball game, middle of 5 at Dodger Stadium. Mustang, head turning and heart pounding. Ford, go further. By Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Dodger Stadium filled to the brim as it typically is. The Rockies trailing 4-3 after the two-run home run by Charlie Blackmon. Jimmy Rollins will lead it off in the bottom of the fifth against Kyle Kendrick. And this is popped up, and the wind's going to blow it over the dugout area of the Dodgers out of play.
Well, it's imperative for Kyle to have a shutdown inning. I mean, you battled, Charlie battled, you got yourself back into the game. The Dodgers don't have that closer that they have normally had with Kenley Jansen out, so they're going bullpen by committee. Just down a run. It's got to be a shutdown inning.
0-2 on Rollins. Breaking ball is in the dirt, 1-2. Rollins a walk and scored in the first on the double by Adrian Gonzalez. That came after he stole a base. Grounded to second in the second inning. Kendrick off the right side of the rubber, the first base side of the rubber. Strike three on the inside corner on Rollins.
Hip side fastball. Get the left-hander to raise his arms up. Cuts the corner. The hitters will give up on it, thinking it's going to be inside. Back, jackknife him.
Well received by Nick Hundley.
Just on the corner, turn your thumb down and stick it. And that's what he did.
Well, it's good. You know, Mike Everett, we talked about, he's given that pitch to Clayton Kershaw, so you better give it both ways. This ball's popped up by Crawford. Careful, Nolan. Did he do it again?
No, he missed that one.
He told us he wasn't going to run into stands anymore, and he almost just did.
You could say that, but your instincts take over. And he's angry at himself for not catching this because we're used to seeing him do wild things.
Well, he got leather on it.
Ow.
He's something else. He is something
every night
else.
He's his own human highlight reel.
Nolan, he can't get that one.
He just said, I'm not even going to run after it. You go back to San Francisco. How could we forget this catch? And after this catch, he said, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to put my body in that jeopardy. And fall into the stands, but then have the wherewithal to come up and make the throw.
Yeah, you can say, call me biased or whatever you want to call me. Kevin Pillar, who made a great catch. Is it Kevin? I'm thinking of Millar, but Pillar
with
Toronto, who made that great catch, climbed the wall, and reached over the fence. Great play.
Yes.
That's far more difficult.
No doubt. No doubt, because an outfielder is used to going up against a wall and maybe even using his foot to go there. For Nolan, the distance he traveled to catch that ball was 111 feet.
Outfielders, when they're during BP, they'll have opportunities every once in a while to go and practice that, climb the wall.
Rob a guy.
You can't practice. This is off of Williams' glove, and Crawford will reach.
Gave him a base hit.
Number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
Well, he made one of these earlier in the game. Willeen did on Yasmani Grandal.
That was towards the heel of the glove.
Well, Adrian Gonzalez at the plate. And you have another base stealer at first in Carl Crawford. Gonzalez a double to center field and a ground ball to short.
Keep the tag on him. If he's going to go back feet first, if you're Willeen, keep that tag on the leg. Might just slightly nudge him off the bag. Not a full force push, but if that foot breaks contact, you still have it for the out.
And with the replay reviews, we saw that a few times last year. We've already seen it this year on an overslide. Speaking of reviews, the Rockies have zero so far. Nothing to review.
There he goes. That time he held it. And I think there's been only one challenge against them, and that was in San Francisco in the last series. The play at the plate.
Rockies pitch out. Crawford was not going, so it's 1-0.
Well, and Crawford does not have this as big a lead as Jimmy Rollins. His leads, at least that last time, was roughly a foot shorter.
Two and 0. Gonzalez, the reigning National League Player of the Week. 5 home runs in his first 3 games. That had not been done before. His next delivery will be number 90 for Kendrick. And this ball is going to head to the right field corner. Crawford with big speed, and he's going to get a green light. And he's going to score on another double by Adrian Gonzalez. The Dodgers immediately get a run back. It's 5-3. 2 more ribbies tonight, 2 more doubles. He leads baseball with 8 doubles. He has 11 RBIs, second in the National League. To Paul Goldschmidt's 12.
Fell behind 2-0 and then goes with the slider that doesn't bite. And Adrian Gonzalez pulls it down into the corner. Carl Crawford still has some speed. And Charlie hits the cutoff man in DJ LeMahieu, but the throw was just not in time at home. Scott Oberg is up in the bullpen now for Colorado.
Kendrick to Kendrick. There's Oberg. Ten years in the big leagues now for Howie Kendrick. That's lined fair down the right field line. That'll bring home Adrian Gonzalez. It'll be back-to-back doubles for the Dodgers, and they lead it 6-3.
The third RBI tonight for Kendrick. Pulled the home run to left. This time takes the ball to right. That's away from him. And drives it to the corner.
Steve Foster's climbing the stairs of the Rockies dugout.
Simple approach from Howie. The Dodgers have gone above what they've averaged at home. They've averaged 5.5 runs, and now it's they're 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. And the rooftop is a place to be during baseball season. Arrive early for pregame festivities and beer specials before first pitch.
The Rockies are trying to get Kendrick at least through the 5th inning, because you can't continually go to your bullpen in the middle innings. The Rockies have been fortunate. In San Francisco, Butler survived 6 walks. That, is going to be an aberration. If you walk 6 in a game, you're not going to not give up runs. And Matzik, to his credit, straightened things out after the first couple of frames where he couldn't spot his fastball.
Well, and you knew in that second game with Christian Bergman that he wasn't going to throw you 100, 110 pitches. He went 4, which was pretty good considering he hadn't started since spring training.
Matzik ended up getting 6 innings out of his outing.
Eddie was 5 1/3.
Two strikes on Grandal. The catchers last year for the Dodgers hit a collective 191. One of the reasons, not to knock A.J. Ellis, but one of the reasons they were in search of help there offensively. Enter Grandal from San Diego in the Kemp deal, 2-2.
And that's why Grandal's playing tonight and not A.J. Ellis, who last year caught Clayton for the majority of his starts, if not almost all of them. I just thought that Grandal brought more offense.
Strike 3. Grandal knew it, so Kendrick freezes Grandal. That's the 6th strikeout for Kyle Kendrick. Kind of interesting. That's a high number for him.
It is, because he's a sinker ball, wants to get early and often ground ball outs. So you, again with the hip side fastball, gets Grandal, but the next pitch will be number 99. And if you're getting ground ball outs, you would last or go longer into the game. Strikeout total will be lower, but quicker innings.
Towering foul ball down the right field line by Ethier. Ethier, infield hit his last time up. 1 for 2. Kendrick at second with 2 outs, 6-3 LA. Rockies had climbed to within a run, 4-3 on the 2-run home run last half inning by Charlie Blackmon. There's the 1-2 on Ethier. Ethier owns a career average of .304 against right-handed pitching. It's 11th among active players.
Sorry about that. The other thing this does, though, it gives Clayton Kershaw a chance to catch his breath and have some time before he has to go back out and pitch. And it hurts you on 2 fronts. You'd climb back to 4-3, but now this long inning has helped him.
It's full at 3-2. Loses it.
Oberg's ready. Ball to go get Kendrick.
So Walt is hoping to get Kendrick at least through the 5th inning. Kyle, after losing Ethier, will hand the baseball to Walt Weiss, who will in turn hand it to Scott Oberg. 2 outs in the 5th inning. The Rockies trailing 6-3 back to Dodger Stadium in a moment. Runners at first and second. Scott Oberg will try to get the Rockies back on offense facing Juan Uribe. When Uribe was a Rocky, Oberg was like elementary school.
But he has one victory under his big league belt. That came against San Francisco, 1 inning, strikeout, 17 pitches.
And a mishit ground ball. Oberg on the move. What a play, but unfortunately Willeen couldn't squeeze it. It was a short hop. Great effort by Oberg, man. That showed some athleticism right there, hopping off the mound.
Well, you just come into the game. You got runners at first and second. You're playing in front of 45, 50,000 people, and he hits a chopper down the third base line. You get off the bag, you look, you plant, you throw, and that's a ball that has to be picked. I mean, it wasn't that bad of a short hop. You have to get your glove underneath it and kind of pick it and set it into your glove. One more look just to get that ball off. And that's where some of the inexperience from Willeen at first base. If he steps more towards where that throw's going, you can reach further with your glove.
Good block by Hundley, man. That was a great block with Peterson at the plate. an infield hit for Uribe. Third infield hit of the ball game for the Dodgers. 3 of their 8.
Not an easy block for Nick. He was expecting the ball to be outside. It went back in and to slide over.
Peterson, a strikeout and an intentional walk. Bases full of Dodgers. Oberg reached back and got 95 on that heater. This is the guy we told you in San Francisco the Rockies are really high on.
Well, he's closed games in the minor leagues, so he has a mentality. He has that bulldog attitude. Give me it. I like to pitch in pressure situations.
Kendrick is at third. He originally doubled. Ethier walked after being behind 0-2, and you just saw how Uribe got on. Drew Stubbs shading toward left center with Jock Peterson at the plate. And that was a pardon-moi suing.
I don't know what that means, but it wasn't pretty. Pardon me, I didn't mean to swing, kind of.
That's the interesting combination with Oberg. It's a hard sinker and a really good curveball.
95 to 81 is a huge difference.
And now it runs full on Peterson. Nowhere to put him. Every day an opportunity for growth, especially for a young player.
How does he go power on power?
Go with that hard sinker. That's his pitch. He did, and it's a towering fly ball to deep right field. Blackman has a beat on it and will make the catch. Peterson off camera spikes his helmet. It's a long out. Couple runs in the inning for the Dodgers. We'll go to the 6th. LA 6 and the Rockies 3. Los Angeles, we go to the 6th inning. The Rockies trailing the Dodgers 6-3. Clayton Kershaw has struck out 10 this evening. For the Rockies, Arenado, Rosario, Hundley. We're glad, as always, that you're with us. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Jenny Kavnar on a very pleasant Southern California evening. Rockies again tomorrow night against the Dodgers. And then Sunday afternoon before returning home and beginning a 6-game homestand with the Padres come Monday. Jordan Lyles, Zach Greinke tomorrow. Arenado, a fly ball to center field and a fly ball to right field. In Reno tonight, Albuquerque, the Isotopes leading the Aces 11-2. Chad Bettis, another strong outing. Chad went 5 2/3 in that ball game and allowed a run on 8 hits, a couple of walks, 5 strikeouts.
How about John Lannon last night?
John Lannon, both outings have been terrific for the Rockies.
2 games, both.
Excuse me, for the Isotopes.
Yeah, both of them in Albuquerque for John. He has a .69 ERA. Last night, 7 innings, 5 hits, only 1 earned run given up.
Tim Wheeler's off to a great start. Tim Wheeler, 4 more hits tonight, including his 3rd home run, a couple doubles. Ben Paulson threw out 4 hits this evening. 2 strikes on Nolan. He and Willeen, the only 2 not to strike out tonight against Kershaw. And here comes Rosario right now. Willeen, a ground ball to third and a bullet base hit up the middle.
Number 20, Willeen Rosario.
Despite the strikeouts, the Rockies have applied pressure on Kershaw. 3 runs, and if you missed it earlier, Willeen was thrown out at the plate on a perfect throw by Ethier on a 2-out base hit by Corey Dickerson that would have given the Rockies another run.
Well, and with the 2 home runs that Kershaw's given up tonight, that's 15th time in his career he's given up 2 or more home runs, and tonight was career game number 225.
And that other note, the Rockies have hit 3 home runs against Clayton Kershaw at Dodger Stadium ever. 2 have come tonight. Jeff Baker did it in 2008, and tonight Tulowitzki's line shot to left, right down the line, and the home run by Charlie Blackmon with a man aboard last inning. One and 2. Down the line, extra bases for Willeen. Into that left field corner, Carl Crawford will toss it back to the infield. It's a 1-out double for Rosario, his 2nd hit tonight against Kershaw.
Number 4, Nick Hundley.
He squared both those hits up. This one might not have been as hard as the one up the middle, but stayed on the curveball. Uribe didn't have a chance, even with the dive after, to knock it down.
So Nick Hundley will take his turn. Nick struck out swinging in the 2nd, looking in the 4th. Both times on 3-2 pitches.
Well, that double now, 3 of the 6 hits tonight are extra base hits.
Rockies trying to snap a 6-game losing streak in LA. Two balls and a strike on Hundley with Rosario at 2nd. One out in the Rockies' 6th. And it's 3-1. Dickerson's on deck.
To have some milling around down in the Dodgers bullpen. Guys getting up and starting to get loose.
Ball 4. So quality at bat from Hundley, and now Dickerson comes up. He represents the tying run. That's the first walk allowed tonight by Kershaw. Justin has a question. Where is the barnyard? That's Brandon Barnes. Brandon Barnes is playing in Colorado, I knew I'd do that at some point this year. It's the first time. He's playing in Albuquerque, the Rockies' AAA affiliate. He's playing well. He's hitting .265. He's hit a couple home runs, leading off every day. That goes a miss for a second, and now moving up is Rosario. Hundley had to wait because he has to make sure Rosario is going to go, so it's 1st and 3rd.
That's tough on the trail runner. When that ball kicks out, you wait to see if that runner in front of you is going to go. Slider, he just whiffed on it off the thumb. Moline sees it, he goes. That's going to be a pass ball. But for Nick, he has to stay put at first base.
Dickerson, after going hitless in 7 at bats against Kershaw, ripped a base hit his last time up. That was a swing to tie it up.
Just too high up the ladder.
Back-to-back fastballs. It's 1-2. Rockies have Christian Friedrich in their bullpen. Paco Rodriguez, one of 3 lefties for the Dodgers now in their bullpen. They added Adam Liberatore earlier today. Here's the former Florida Gator.
Made it to the big leagues in the year he was drafted.
Yeah, that never happens. Almost never.
Corey'd like to have that pitch back. He was right on it. Looked like he shook off to a curveball. That he did.
And the breaking ball strikes out Dickerson. The 11th strikeout for Kershaw, and it'll be left to Drew Stubbs.
Number 13, Drew Stubbs.
This is a season high for strikeouts in a game for the Rockies. And you're going to punch out in double figures. I guess it's understandable when it happens with Clayton Kershaw on the mound. Drew reached on an error in the 5th inning by Adrian Gonzalez, strike 1. Hit a hard ground ball that Adrian bobbled once, and then Drew just beat the little toss to Kershaw covering. Stubbs would steal second. And will come around on the Blackmon home run.
That's what hustle will do. You run hard, you never know.
Got to figure this is it for Kershaw, approaching 100 pitches.
Well, and he's due up first next inning. Combination of the two, they'll go to their bench. Honeycutt, the longtime pitching coach of Donnie Mattingly.
A few guys in baseball that have been in that position as pitching coach longer than Honeycutt. Dave Righetti's one of them. Roger McDowell's been around a long time in Atlanta, and of course Darren Balsley down the road in San Diego. Cooper with the White Sox been in that spot a long time as well. Don Cooper. 0-2. 1-2. Nice job staying off that curveball. 2-2.
The last two strikeouts from Kershaw have come on the curveball. Take a peek into the signs.
Rosario at third, Hundley at first. Covered that fastball up in the zone. That's a pitch that Kershaw gets so many swings and misses on.
So that's a late life. It's tough to get your hands up when that ball's coming in on you as a lefty to a righty to get up on top of that and at minimum foul it off. Asking for the back foot slider.
Strike 3 on Stubbs. Tosses his bat and his helmet aside. 2 men left on. Kershaw with 12 strikeouts. The Dodgers with a 6-3 lead.
It is 6-3. Dodgers have a lead over the Rockies. Well, it is a Fan Friday. Don't forget to send your questions in at @RootSports_RM. You can hashtag Toyota Talk. Let's get to another question about the Rockies rotation. And it happens to do with Jorge De La Rosa. What will happen with the pitching rotation when Jorge returns from his injury. This one from Brian Taylor. And Brian, looks like Jorge De La Rosa will be pitching on Monday at Coors Field. That'll push Eddie Butler up. And of course, with the Rockies off day yesterday, he'll still get adequate enough rest. So Butler will be pitching Sunday, Jorge De La Rosa on Monday, which means pretty much if everything stays in line, it'll be De La Rosa, Matzik, Kendrick, Lyles, Butler. So that's how things look. And I think for Walt Weiss and crew, as we watch this ball, it's easy, breezy fly out there. It looks like De La Rosa will get that start at home because Drew and Jeff, I'll send it back to you with this. A 10-2 record last year in 15 games started for him. We know how great De La Rosa is at home, and that'll be a nice welcome back to the rotation for him.
Yeah, I think that's the right move for Walt Weiss, and Steve Foster let De La open at home where, he's without parallel at Coors Field.
And you also give him one more day, so he'll have actually 5 days in between his last start with the off day yesterday.
Right. That was Alex Guerrero pinch hitting for Kershaw. He lines out to left. Jimmy Rollins at the plate against Scott Oberg. Strike one. Oberg got the final out of the fifth inning. Kyle Kendrick goes 4 2/3, allows 6 runs on 7 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 6. And the curveball 0-1 misses, 1-1. New Britain won again tonight. He won 4-3. Beat New Hampshire.
Remember we were talking about New Britain the other day. They're going to be moving to Hartford.
Yes.
After this year, so they're changing their name. It's going to be the Hartford Yard Goats.
Somebody tweeted that to us. What a great name, huh?
Well, it's
I love their current name, and
I
they have another good name.
I mean, it's technically an old railroad slang term for an engine that switches a train to get ready for another locomotive.
Nick Hundley clears himself, and after the strikeout, gets Jimmy Rollins
Number 3, Carl Crawford.
at first.
Well, the first 15,000 fans through the gates on Saturday, April 25th, will receive a Vinny Castilla drink beverage wrap. It's brought to you by Donate Life Colorado.
That strikeout for Oberg, his second career strikeout in that clean inning. On Tuesday, he had a strikeout, earning the victory against the Giants. Crawford in infield, and he's 1 for 3. Really came on the final couple of months of last season, hit above 350 the final couple of months of 2014. The former Ray and Boston Red Sox. There's a strike. Shane Carl got his second victory tonight for New Britain. It's 2-0 with a 1.32 ERA. Trevor Story 1 for 4, killing his average down to 394. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. Tulowitzki has it, and Scott Oberg works a very strong 6th inning. So we move to the 7th. The Rockies will try to get after that Dodger bullpen. Down 3 runs. 100 bullets. He's gone, so the Rockies will try to get after, at least initially, Paco Rodriguez. It's time now for the Coors Timeless Moment. Who will ever forget, if you're a Rockies fan, Atlanta, Georgia, April 17, 2010, as Ubaldo Jimenez no-hit the Braves. What a dominant performance, and wouldn't you know it, he was helped by that spectacular catch in the 7th by Dexter Fowler. Ubaldo tonight had a no-hitter going, not nearly as long, with 2 outs in the 4th inning. He had not given up a hit, and something happened that he ends up in an argument with the umpire, and he gets thrown out of the game. He went 3 2/3, and he had a great first outing this year for Baltimore, where he gave up just 1 hit. 3 2/3. You look at on the in the scorebook, he hadn't given up a hit, but he got tossed.
Well, he threw behind a batter, and so the umpire thought he probably was throwing at somebody. It was Pablo Sandoval, so the guy has a no-hitter. Even though it's early in the game, you're not going to throw behind a hitter. You got to be a little bit smarter than that to throw him out of the game immediately.
Rafael Noah is going to pinch hit for Scott Oberg. Good work by Oberg. Noah, switch hitter.
Talked about Paco Rodriguez a couple years ago. He was just nails in the bullpen. Last year didn't have the same sort of season. Tried to smooth out his delivery. Quicker to the plate, not as many hesitations or moving parts. It's still different. He still drop it behind.
He credits his physical therapist, a woman he's worked with down in Miami, with helping getting his arm and his elbow right.
She would watch video of him, and they broke it down, trying to take the stress off the elbow.
0-2. The Rockies on their bench tonight have some big left-handed bats. Cargo, Morneau, Daniel Descalso's on their bench on the left side. Michael McHenry, their only true right-handed bat. Walt naturally loaded up with right-handed hitters against Kershaw. DJ's on deck. The word out of that game with Baltimore and Ubaldo drilling Panda, as Panda slid in really hard into second base. There were some words, and so the follow-up was the pitch behind the bat.
Guys used to slide hard into second base all the time.
2-2. Good battle from Rafi Noah. Been a good night.
Battle going on here.
Real good battle. It's been a good night for the Rockies affiliates. Asheville was postponed tonight, but everybody else won. Modesto is winning big. 11-1. Raymil Tapia, 5 ribbies tonight, a couple of doubles. He's hitting .351. Ryan McMahon had another hit and an RBI. He's hitting .323. Carell Prime, he's over 300. That's a slider that catches the inside corner. So Paco Rodriguez wins that battle. And that'll bring up DJ LeMahieu. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Just utilize the promo code ROXWIN at papajohns.com. Dodgers off to a 6-3 start. Rockies on top of the division at 7-2. The Dodgers have had great work by their relievers also. 2.79 ERA, not quite as low as the Rockies relievers, but somewhat similar in that their starters coming into the ball game had an ERA of almost 4.5, and the pen almost 2 runs better. The Rockies pen much better ERA right now than the rotation. Doesn't matter how you add it up, but both teams off to good starts. You just would like to see the Rockies' perspective. This ball's lined to right center field. Ethier will get there. Well, starter ERA come down and get more longevity out of the rotation, so you don't wear out the bullpen early.
And for the Dodgers, that was kind of their question mark coming out of spring training, with Kenley Jansen being out, who probably won't be back for another month, 3 weeks at the earliest. And they just didn't have that closer, so everybody shuffles around and moves to different spots. But early on, the results have been there for the Dodgers. They've really been there for the Rockies and their relievers.
Charlie, a 2-run home run after a 9-pitch battle with Kershaw in the 5th inning. That got the Rockies within a run at 4-3. Colorado's played catch up the whole night. Dodgers got 3 in the first against Kyle Kendrick. A big blow, a 2-run home run from Howie Kendrick. No swing. We were talking about bullpens. The Rockies bullpen came into the ball game with a 1.91 ERA, and that's gone down a little bit more tonight with the initial work of Scott Oberg.
Well, and a 149 batting average against. Both of those are second best in the National League. .38 Ks for the bullpen. 38 Ks put him second in the National League, trailing only the Dodgers and Atlanta.
Three and two on Blackman with 2 outs and nobody on in the 7th. Yasiel Puig, a hamstring strain. Going tonight. To be determined whether we see him over the weekend. Gonzalez has it, and Paco Rodriguez works a 1-2-3, 7th inning. 6-3 LA. Transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. Boy, it's so unusual to see traffic in Los Angeles. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Rockies trailing 6-3. Christian Friedrich now on the hill for Colorado.
Part of that bullpen we've been heaping the praise on. .94 whip without an ERA. Five and a third for Christian. 5 strikeouts.
Adrian Gonzalez takes ball 1. 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, and 3 at-bats tonight for the perennial all-star Adrian Gonzalez. Scott Oberg got 4 outs for the Rockies. Gave up an infield hit, that was all. 1 strikeout. And that's foul. Pretty nice coming to the ballpark and getting 2 hits at least every night. That's like an off night these days for Gonzalez. Wearing 23, stole Don Mattingly's number, huh?
Yeah, that's the way it is when you come in with the big contract. Donnie Baseball had to give it up.
One first baseman to another. It's okay, right?
Well, when you're hitting .538, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, yeah, it's okay.
Boy, he could swing it.
Oh, it was fun playing against him. Just because of the respect I had, the way he approached the game. It wasn't fun when he's beating you every night. But he respected the game as much as anybody.
That's a 3-hit night for Adrian Gonzalez. It's hard to go to the ballpark with a .528 average and have it go up.
Number 47, Howie Kendrick.
Well, the comfort level for Adrian Gonzalez. I know he left and went back to the East Coast, but all the years he spent in San Diego and now here in LA, he's just comfortable in the Pacific time zone.
Well, did you know Adrian Gonzalez has reached base safely at least twice in each of the Dodgers' now 10 ball games. The longest such streak since '52, and Jackie Robinson reached twice in each of the club's first 10.
Speaking of Jackie, they held a game down at Vero Beach at Dodgertown a few days back when they had the game here. They don't play at Dodgertown and Vero Beach anymore.
That's a line drive glove by Troy. Howie Kendrick is the first out of the 7th inning.
But they had almost 6,000 fans on hand for a game between Brevard County and St. Lucie.
That's great.
Yeah. Those dugouts, the dugouts at Vero Beach, where they used to have a team in the Florida State League, there was no covering over the top of it, so fans would sit right behind you. I mean, you could hear them talking.
They would yell.
Sun? The sun would beat down on you if it was a day game. There was no covering at all.
Grandal steps in from the right side, and he takes outside. Yasmani's 0 for 2 and a walk, scored a run in the 4th.
We'll just finish off with the Jackie Robinson. You know who hit the first home run at Dodgertown at Vero Beach?
I do not.
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson. A lot of firsts. Of course, the number 1 first, we all know. April 15th, 1947. This is going to die in left center field for a base hit. Adrian Gonzalez will go first to third on the knock by Grandal.
Number 16, Andre Ethier.
That was off the trademark. You hear that crackling sound of the bat. Wasn't pure, but enough to put it into left center field, allowing Adrian to reach third.
Here's Ethier. Christian looking for a ground ball here to get out of the inning. Dodgers went 94 and 68 last year, and capturing the NL West. This will get a run home. Adrian Gonzalez makes it 7-3. Ethier's first RBI of the night, his third on the season.
Number 5,
The Dodgers tonight have done all the little things. They've gotten the runners in from third base, come up with the big hits, the home runs. Took advantage of a couple walks.
Uribe fouls that off.
Seasons for Juan Uribe.
Not too many guys collect 15 years in this league. I mean, you're a rarity. You had 10 years in a week. You hit double digits.
Well, that's kind of the magic number that players shoot for. Has to do with your pension.
I mean, you can shoot for it all you want, but the average career was about three and a half years. High fly ball to right field. Waiting on it is Charlie Blackmon. Dodgers get a run. Adrian Gonzalez, his third hit of the night, would eventually score on a fly ball by Ethier. It is 7-3 LA as we go to the 8th. For LA, the Rockies 3-run, 6 hits, no errors as we go to the 8th inning. Tonight's game changer is brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, the Rockies were making a move on the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw. Dickerson a base hit. The runner at second base is Rosario, and Molina is thrown out on an absolutely perfect throw by Andre Ethier. That was big. It's our game changer brought to you by T-Mobile. In the 8th inning, Troy Tulowitzki, Nolan Arenado, Willeen Rosario, and hopefully several others to face Yimi Garcia. Paco Rodriguez, a clean 7th inning. Clayton Kershaw is on the plus side. He gave up 3 runs, 1 earned in 6 innings, 6 hits, a walk, and he struck out a dozen.
Oh, for Yimi, 10 strikeouts in the 6 innings that he's pitched. 0.95 batting average against, just 2 for 21.
Got to the big leagues for the first time last year. Appeared in 8 ball games.
Spent most of the year in Albuquerque for the Isotopes.
Both their AAA and AA affiliates for the Dodgers now in Oklahoma. Took over Tulsa and Oklahoma City. Gonzalez makes the catch, 1 out.
Number 28.
Tulo had homered and singled earlier against Kershaw. Arenado's 0 for 3. A couple fly balls and a ground ball to second for Nolan tonight.
Pitch of choice for Garcia is a slider. Looks like Sergio Romo. He'll throw it a lot.
There it is right there. It's off the plate. 1-1. Crowd of 50 shy of 49,000 tonight at Dodger Stadium. This ball ripped to left, and Nolan's got a knock. Who Wants Tacos? Fans follow @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies produce 7 or more runs. With Jeff Hewson and Jenny Cavnar, I'm Drew Goodman. Willeen Rosario at the plate. Willeen's got a couple hits tonight. Single and a double. Both of his hits came against Kershaw.
Troy Hawkins, the pen for the Rockies.
And there's that slider. 2-strike count. About around baseball tonight, there was some interesting happenings. There were 5 different players that hit 2 home runs tonight. Mike Trout, heard of him?
Yeah, I heard he's really good.
Yep. Stephen Vogt, heard of him?
Yes.
The former A, Josh Donaldson, in his first 2 for Toronto. Willeen's gone. Russell Martin hit a pair of home runs for Toronto. And A-Rod hit 2 home runs for the Yankees. He's got 4. One of his home runs went 471 feet, 5 feet farther than Adrian Gonzalez and Carlos Gonzalez had hit home runs earlier this year. That is now the new longest home run in baseball this year. And A-Rod is now 2 shy of the great Willie Mays on the all-time home run list.
After being off for a year and some change, got 4 home runs.
Yeah, nothing was
easy to do.
Other than money, nothing was guaranteed him going into the year. I mean, Joe Girardi said, "We'll see." You don't know what you're getting. The guy'd been out of the game for over a year. 1 strike on Nick, and that's in there also. 14 strikeouts tonight by the Rockies, a season high.
Kershaw had 12 of them.
He can do that to you, can't he?
Yes, he can. Garcia went partial Louis T on the last pitch. He turned, showed you his numbers.
That'll throw you off.
Yeah, I've seen that since he was pitching for the Red Sox.
Rising fastball, and Hundley is gone. 2 strikeouts for Yimi Garcia in the 8th inning. The Dodgers lead at 7-3. Rockies trail 7-3, bottom of the 8th inning at Dodger Stadium as we check our CenturyLink link to what's next. Here's the pitching matchup tomorrow. A pair of right-handers. The Rockies will send Jordan Lyles to the mound. He's looking for his second victory on the young season. And Zach Greinke also will be looking for his second victory on the season. And we're on the air at 6:30 in the Mountain Time Zone right here on Root Sports.
Troy Hawkins in the ball game. For Hawk, his 5th appearance. Off a pretty nice outing in San Francisco, trying to get back on track. And Hawk came in 1 inning, just 6 pitches thrown in that inning.
Jock Peterson at the plate. 0 for 2 and a walk for Peterson. He was 9 for 12 over a 4-game hitting streak coming in.
Justin Turner's come to the on-deck circle for the Dodgers.
Like a lot of young hitters, you see the flash of talent, and then you see the struggles dealing with big league pitching. 31 at bats. Peterson has struck out a dozen times, but he also brought a .310 average into the ballpark tonight.
Yeah, so that when he hits it, the batting average of balls in play is pretty high. He has a tendency to get long with his swing.
3 balls and a strike.
He doesn't hold his hands maybe as low as a Matt Stairs. You remember Matt, he would have his hands down by his numbers and his letters. But then the high leg kick.
He takes a big old swing, doesn't he?
Well, it's a swing hard in case you hit it. Heads up, Drew.
You know what? All the years coming to Dodger Stadium, that's the first time I've ever seen a baseball reach our level. I've seen them go over, over us, but it's usually down the right field line or left field line. That thing was within 15 feet of coming in our booth. That never happens.
Might have been in Rick Monday. And
Rick would have made the play.
Yeah, he would. He couldn't just reach out there and grab it.
Rick?
Oh, another one.
Rick's going to have really long arms to get this one. Another 3-2 from Hawkins, down low, ball 4. Let's go down and check in once again with Jenny Cavnar. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, been checking on Twitter tonight for our Fan Friday. Ran across a tweet from @John Axford. Of course, he's on emergency family medical leave right now, not with the Rockies. So he tweeted this out today: 3 weeks and 3 days later, Jameson is finally out of ICU, still in the hospital, and still has a long road ahead. Hashtag, but a step in the right direction. We love that hashtag. Of course, the well-known story that John Axford's son was bit by a rattlesnake at spring training in Arizona. The good news is that he is out of ICU. That's great news, in fact, and he's at a hospital in Denver. So, of course, John Axford with his family, we continue to send our thoughts and prayers out to the Axford family. Love the positivity out there.
Yeah, that's terrific news for Jameson and for the Axford family. Pinch hitting is Justin Turner in the pitcher's spot. Two strikes on Turner as he gazes back. with disdain at Mike Everett on that call.
Well, if he's been watching anything from the dugout, he should know that Mike Everett's right arm's probably getting a little tired from all the strike calls. And
He's had a good-sized zone east and west tonight.
Follow live Rockies baseball in 2015 with MLB.com at bat on your phone, smartphone, or tablet, featuring score, stats, highlights, and more. Download MLB.com at bat.
Turner strikes out for the first out in the 8th. Bring up Jimmy Rollins for the 5th time tonight. 0 for 3 and a walk, scored back in the first.
Number 11, Jimmy Rollins.
Outside corner for a strike. Dodgers have won 4 straight. The Rockies 3 in a row. Rollins is gone. High fastball strikes out Rollins. 2 outs.
The last 2, the foul tip held on by Nick Hundley.
Carl Crawford 1 for 4. He had an infield hit in the 5th. Other than that, he's hit 3 pop-ups to Troy Tulowitzki. I don't know if I've ever written that in the book 3 different times. Don't the exact. You have days where a guy hit a ground ball at the same guy, 3 times, maybe even 4 times. I don't know if I've seen 3 pop-ups to the same guy.
So how do you write a pop-up in your book?
Just to differentiate from, fly balls, I'll write L6 if it's a line out.
Yeah,
I'll literally write pop 6.
Okay.
How about you?
I just do an F6.
F6, okay,
yeah.
that works. On fly balls, I just write 9, 7, 8. But if they hit it really well and it's deep on the track, I'll write deep 8. So it kind of reminds me. Little particulars of scoring, right?
Everybody has their own style, as long as you understand your style.
Arizona beating up the Giants tonight, 9-0. They've out-hit the Giants 18-4. The Giants are staring at a 3-9 start, the defending world champs.
Who started for the Giants tonight?
I will tell you momentarily.
Peavy.
Comebacker, and Troy will go underhanded to first. So we'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies trail 7-3 in Los Angeles. Back right after this. Then Corey Dickerson will be first, but even before that, we go to Mark Stout in our Denver studios. Mark? Hey, a big attaboy mark to Sully for getting into the ballpark tonight from Evergreen, where it was a winter wonderland. Also, Allison Vigil, our pre- and post-game producer, lives up there. And Sully said 30 inches of snow. What I don't understand is he has a beautiful, fireplace in the patio there. Why it wasn't on? Because it needed to be on. Help melt that snow, right?
Yeah, well, he was inside while everybody else was out shoveling.
And you were very nice to Sully today, in that you took a selfie by the pool, and
right, because he sent me all the picture of the snow. I had to do what I was doing here, show him that I was surviving by the pool.
Basically, how is that selfie different from any other you take in all the cities we go to? Adam Liberatore is on the mound. 27-year-old from Pennsylvania.
I just recalled today, came over from Tampa Bay with Joel Peralta last November.
He's from Joe Willie's hometown. He's from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, where Joe Namath grew up.
Broadway Joe.
Yeah, Broadway Joe. 2-0 on Dickerson. 3-0. Liberatore played 3 years of college baseball at Tennessee Tech. Further evidence that if you can play, they find you, right?
They find you. The scouts out on the road now with the draft in June.
Rockies have 4 picks in the top 44 in this June's draft. Adrian Gonzalez and hey, relax.
Relax.
A 4-run lead. That's the same kind of thing you'd see from a Troy Tulowitzki or Justin Morneau. You mentioned Peralta, who's a former Rocky. He's throwing just in case in the Dodger bullpen. Rockies made it interesting, even though there were the great number of strikeouts against Kershaw. They had some, big swings against Kershaw. Blackman, the 2-run home run to make it a 4-3 game. Kershaw does keep that streak alive, Huey. 26 in a row now at Dodger Stadium, allowing 3 runs or less.
Well, 3 runs tonight, only 1 earned. But it doesn't matter. You still got 3 runs off of me. Even in the 6th inning, you had the leadoff or the 1-out double by Willeen. Nick walked.
Well, it sets you up if you can match it on the other side to be in a position to steal a game, and that's what you're doing when Kershaw's out there. If you win, you've stolen a game, basically. He's been that dominant during the regular season. There's the Rockies had 3 innings where they're working against the Dodger bullpen. I mean, as long as you get them out of there, you have a better chance. It's that simple.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who they roll out there. You're going to have a better chance than facing Kershaw. Another 3-2. And Dickerson hits it on the ground to Howie Kendrick, 1 out. We showed you Adrian Gonzalez a moment ago. Adrian, 3 more hits tonight. 22 hits for Gonzalez in the first 10 games is the most ever produced by a Dodger. 22 hits in 10 games.
A long history. of the Dodgers.
Long history of the Dodgers. Drew Stubbs reached on an error, stole a base, and scored. This ball's down the right field line, and it is tracked down there by Ethier. Good running catch by Andre Ethier to keep Stubbs from getting his initial hit of the year.
Michael McHenry will pinch hit. Lone right-handed bat after Rafael Lanoa was used.
Rick Honeycutt, 2 outs, nobody on, you're up 4 runs, yet he wants to visit for some reason with Adam Liberatore.
All it is a scouting report. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. With, like you said, with 2 outs, nobody on. Runners on, it'd be a different story.
I get it. He's going over the scouting report. You want to cover everything. I'm kind of like you. The only thing that makes you pause for a moment is, would you not go with your strengths right now in this situation?
Well, and he just made a pitch to get a guy out. He's in a rhythm, and then you stop that.
Hopefully, it opens up the floodgates, right?
That's what it takes.
A strike on McHenry.
DJ sitting on the on-deck circle saying, give me another chance to extend my hit streak. That's in danger of going by the wayside.
Yeah, Peavy got the loss for the Giants. He's 0-2 with a 9.39 ERA. The Giants are 0-5 at AT&T. Thank the Rockies for the first 3 of those. Look at
Heads up. This guy got hit on the arm, standing in the aisle.
I think the longest bat toss I've ever seen. Josh Hamilton in spring training against the Rockies a few years ago. He's still playing with Texas. He launched one at, I think it went 150 feet.
The bat toss Hall of Fame.
1-2 on McHenry. Another note from Major League Baseball tonight. Bartolo Colon, Mets have won 6 in a row. He's 3-0. 2.25 ERA. What, is he's 41, 42? Or is he just 40? He's over 40.
Yeah, I don't have 40 or 41.
He'll be 42 on May 24th. 2-2 on McHenry. And that is strike 3 in the ball game. The Dodgers have knocked off the Rockies 7-3, handing Colorado their first road loss of the year. The Rockies fall to 7-3. The Dodgers are now 7-3 as Colorado and Los Angeles atop the National League West. Clayton Kershaw gets the victory. It's his first of the year, his 99th of his career. And Kyle Kendrick takes the loss. Kyle is now 1-2 on the season. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game came way back in the first inning. It was already 1-0 LA. And Howie Kendrick, on the first pitch he sees from Kyle Kendrick, hit his first Dodger home run to deep left center field. Got the Dodgers off to a 3-0 beginning, and they would go on to prevail 7-3 tonight. 3 hours and 18 minutes the time of game in front of just under 49,000 tonight at Dodger Stadium. It's time to get you to our Root Sports studios in Denver. Mark Stout, Corey Sullivan. Gentlemen.